Hey Oteria, what's up? I am Pseudo, and we have some PvP updates today. So if you didn't know, Push is coming back this week, and we're going to be checking out this blog post as well as have some gameplay right at the end of the video, maybe with some commentary, maybe not, for you guys to take a look at what the new map looks like. It's really exciting. I genuinely do like this game mode, mostly because the matches are super short and it's really easy to just get that fast-paced, reset, up, won a match, lost a match, get right back in. And because it's new, people are playing it, so the queues are super short. Anyway, let's get into this blog post. Right off the bat, looks like it's got a Jade Tech aesthetic. Couple new assets in there. Greetings, Tyrians! We're back with an update on Push, the fast-paced 5v5 PvP game mode first revealed alongside GuildWars2's Jan3 Wilds. In Push, teams battle for control of a moving objective. It's not payload, we promise! Working to escort it to the enemy base while fending off their opponent's efforts to do the same. It's a tug-of-war where map control, timing, and team coordination are keys to victory, and definitely not payload from TF2. Push draws inspiration from payload or escort mode. They just say it. Alright, fair enough, I can't even keep making that joke. In many other competitive games, if you missed the original announcement and want a refresher on how the mode came to be, check out the first Push blog from last year. Very briefly, instead of developing the whole thing like Stronghold and then realizing, hey, this is kind of cool, but no one really plays it, they're seeing if people will play it and then developing it. So if you go down to their timeline graphic here, you can kind of see that, which is better and good. Back in September, we hosted our first live beta for Push, featuring a rough prototype of the mode's mechanics on a placeholder map. While the visuals and UI were in the early stages of development, the goal was to gauge community interest and response. I don't even need to do commentary, and the response exceeded our expectations. Your enthusiasm and feedback gave us the confidence to move forward and interest in building Push into a fully realized game mode, which is dope. We made some updates and we'll be running another live beta event on Tuesday, May 20th, today, starting at noon Pacific time. So if you're wondering if it's not live, if this goes live before then, that's why. And until May 27th at noon Pacific time. We're also running a PvP Rush bonus event at the same time, so you can collect some extra rewards while you help us test the Push mode. And you see they have the prototype phase, iteration phase, polish phase, and ship phase, which is a rough overview of how they're developing this. I'm not going to read all of this, but basically it says give them feedback. They've updated the UI a little bit. There's still some gray box art. And please give them feedback whether you're a veteran PvP player or a new player. It's genuinely very helpful. Pushing out some changes. We've had some significant updates prepared for the next beta event that we'd like to share with you. First, we have a first iteration. I can't talk, but that's terrible writing. First iteration of the new map for Push mode. We received a lot of positive feedback on the layout of the placeholder map from the initial beta, so we've done our best to maintain the general footprint of the old map and the new one, just with a fresh coat of paint. So basically the layout's the same, it just looks better. Just like in the first beta, the new map, it still has a good amount of gray box art, but we're comfortable with the broad layout and want to start getting feedback on more specifics. The Super Adventure Box's Angry Cloud will be taking a well-earned leave from the game mode. Aww. I really like that. I hope they have skins for it or something. You can buy like a SAB Push map. And in its place, a slick Jade Tech hovercraft. The hovercraft objective will display a colored highlight indicating which team currently has control of it for easy readability. What's it carrying? It'd be interesting if it updated what it was carrying based on like the current events of the game. This just looks like some junk or parts or something. I feel like it'd be giant glowing crystal. We've also made an update to the center secondary objective. So during the first beta, this was a channeled objective that would prevent the enemy team from contesting the capture point for a period of time. The feedback around this objective was generally negative, as there wasn't any counterplay to the negative effect once it was applied. We do like the idea of a center objective creating pressure on the capture point for the enemy team, but we want to do it in a more interactive way. So, for the upcoming beta, we'll be utilizing mechanics from the Skyhammer Conquest map. Exciting, because that's actually one of the best maps with a comeback mechanic. It's just really long. When players successfully channel the center objective, 3 Skyhammer cannons will fire on the capture point. These Skyhammer shots can be dodged with proper timing, but failing to do so will result in massive damage and a knockdown effect. It's interesting that it's 3, because most classes only have 2 dodges, and 2 is less than 3, quick napkin math in case you didn't know. So it's also interesting that it's a knockdown effect and not a knockback or a launch effect. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Internally, we've been playing with the new center objective mechanic. It certainly feels like a step in the right direction, so we're excited to see what the community thinks about it. Got some new secondary objective UI going on here. I'm guessing anyway. The last main update for the next beta is the first version implementation of what will eventually become the official scoreboard UI for the game mode. During the first beta, the map didn't do a great job of representing who was ahead. No, it did not, especially in close games. The new UI gives players an easy view of the current objective. I'm guessing that's how far, to one team's goal point they have pushed it. The new UI gives players an easy view of capture current objective relative to the position of the capture point along its path, in addition to displaying each team's best push as a percentage of the path traveled. Because in case you didn't know, at time, it goes to who's pushed it the furthest, not who's closest to the goal, which is actually really interesting and definitely a strategy you can incorporate. Looking for feedback. Here's where you guys come in. So during the push beta event, the push mode will replace the ranked queue with the same mini season rewards. You'll also be able to access the push mode in custom arena maps. That's very interesting. As we mentioned above, we have a push PvP, or we have a PvP rush event happening at the same time for extra incentive to get into the action. So also, I want to mention just personally, push is actually a fantastic time to get your games done for the legendary trinket if you haven't done them, because to my knowledge, they did count, they still will count, and the games are super, super quick and rapid fire, and you can just bang out like 100 basically in just a mini season. In half the time it would take you to queue and then do a match for conquest and stuff. So really, really good time to get those done. I had a couple officers do them last time. Whether it's your first look at push or you're a battle-scarred veteran, we want to hear from you. Head over to our push feedback forum thread and let us know what you think. I'll try to have all of this linked in the description as well. We're specifically interested in feedback regarding the changes we've made, but we'd love to hear broader feedback on the push game mode in general as well. Our goal throughout the beta process is to keep the community involved to make sure that we're making the best possible version of push that we can. We'll see you in the mist. I feel like it should be called charge. That's really my only feedback. Just like something more, yeah, let's do it. Get them. But I like the aesthetic. It's rundown Jade Punk. I wish they'd do a happy map at some point, but I don't know. Maybe there's no happiness in ArenaNet offices. I doubt that. They're actually doing pretty all right. But let me know. We'll jump into some videos right after this. I'll try to do some little light commentary maybe on what's going on. But yeah, check it out. Push is live if you're seeing this video probably. So jump in, hang out. Happy pushing. I'm Pseudo. We stream Monday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday at 9 Eastern. I'll be doing this on Wednesday as well as later this week. And cheers. Alright, so I included a couple games. One I'd lost, but I think was a little bit more balanced, and one I won, which is kind of illustrative of how push can go, but you'll see. So for this first match, it starts, the main objective is to run down this corridor and cap the point. You basically want to either be fighting on the point at all times, because there's only one, or around it, or send. If you're a thief, you want to be going to get some of those artifacts. But I get in the point. The enemy team stealths right there. I try to get out because I'm the only one being very pressured. They have control of it right now, and I get in the point. I think the other team is a little bit new or doesn't really understand the point of the beta, so they're hanging back. I'm trying to stay invulnerable in the point as much as I can, but I go down here to too much pressure from the enemy team. But you have your respawn timer. I actually do think that the respawn timer should be maybe a little bit lower for push, since it's such a faster paced game, maybe 12 seconds instead of 15, but is what it is for now. I'm not a huge fan as well that the buildings are as high as they are. I kind of like the open feel of the other beta, but I use my Bull's Charge when I respawn to try to get back to the action, which is now on the side lane, pushing toward our goal, or the enemy's goal, where they would win the game. Trying to put a little bit of pressure onto this point, and we contested again successfully, but my team has all died, so I'm the only one left. I successfully get it down on the Soul Beast here, but he gets bannered, so we don't actually get to shift the momentum of the fight back. It's kind of a little bit illustrative of PvP, where you get one kill and it just completely can rally the fight a little bit, because then the enemy team has further to run back. But we managed to get a couple more downs. Team isn't doing a great job of cleaving. They're all kind of on whatever targets here. I'm trying to kill the Berserker, but because I'm afraid that he's gonna have that Vengeance and War banner, even though I don't think that it's up again. But it is what it is. We managed to get a couple picks on downs and get a little bit of momentum going back here, but as you can see, the enemies are still in the capture point, even in down state, so the point is not moving. I try to run off to pressure this Necro, because if he gets reinforcements, they could really just finish the game and push the point to our spawn. So everybody's kind of squirreling on this Necro, myself included, but it is what it is. We managed to get him down as well. I think I get the stomp here on him, and my ally mistforms over to the point. So we're doing work, we're pushing back. If you see at the top with the secondary objective, it's actually getting a little bit more even. The goal of push, if it goes to time, by the way, is to push it the most, not have it the closest to your spawn. The victory will actually go to whoever pushed the point the most, not whoever has it close to, the enemy's goal there. But I'm trying to get a pick on this Kata. It's not really working, so I go back to apply some vulnerability in AoE as Rifle Warrior does, and hopefully we can get a kill, but we can't faster than the enemies can, so they end up rallying their team here. We almost get the stomp on the Berserker here, but it's a little bit too late, and he ends up getting up. And pretty much the match just kind of snowballs from there. I'm down, I can't contest the point anymore. My team's a little bit squishier, which is fair. You want to be either doing damage or just be a meat wall. So can't expect everybody to just have all the stances in the game. And I want to highlight this a little bit as well. Most of my team is like fighting one dude mid, which is fine, but it's not super helpful. Mostly because I can't secure that kill very fast, and the enemy team's just getting so much mileage while my team is like trying to kill the one guy mid. So you really do want to be fighting on that push point to try to contest it as much as you can, unless you're going for an uncontested objective or a fight you can win. Kind of like Coliseum, actually. If you're going to contest an objective and you're just wasting a bunch of time doing a 3v1 that you can't secure, it's not super productive for your team. As you can see, you get a much less of a run back when you respawn the closer the enemy is to winning, which is kind of the inherent balance of push. There aren't a lot of rubber band mechanics in Guild Wars 2 maps in general, other than sort of Skyhammer and sort of Temple of the Silent Storm. So it's good to see that one's kind of just inherently balances itself. It's kind of a feature of payload, I believe, just in general from TF2. But I try to get in the point. I do contest it a little bit here. They get the kill, and they end up pushing to our spawn after a little bit more contention. As you can see, my team is just kind of in mid. They do get the Skyhammer objective, which gets a couple downs, which is the new thing here, but it's not enough to turn it back in our favor, unfortunately. But as you can see, we're putting up a decent fight toward the end here, while the objective is being contested at our spawn. And again, it is whoever pushes the furthest, not whoever has it closer to the enemy spawn at the end of the game. So we had a chance. We just didn't end up focusing, and they have too much AoE pressure, way more than we do. So that ends up, I think this is the last team fight, and ends up securing them the victory here. But it's a pretty fun fight, and that was a much more even game than the one that's coming up here. Balanced, as PvP can go in just about anything, not just Guild Wars. Little bit of a walking tour of the map here at the beginning. I'm just sort of running around, and then the Herald tries to pick a fight with me, and I'm dueling him for a little bit until my team sort of comes in to bully his day in this next match here. As you can see, there's still plenty of gray box assets, but that is what it is, and this is a beta. Alright, so the match starts. We all line up at the doors. This is actually the opposite spawn point from the other match, so you can kind of see what the spawn points look like. I end up blowing a couple mobility skills as well as a Lush Forest charge to try to get to the midpoint faster, but the enemy has too much pressure, and I probably shouldn't have used Bull's charge right off the bat. I try to go behind everybody and just pressure this thief because I figure they're hanging back and they kind of don't know what's going on, but my team, turns out, has all the nuke pressure in the world with that Willbender Spear 4, and we end up just nuking down the entire team anyway. Notably, they are trying to secure kills. It's important to have somebody trying to cap the point, and there's a little bit of jank here where I'm in the circle, but I'm not on the point, so I'm not sure. I would guess that being on the point is what ends up moving the push objective forward, not being in the circle. And you can see the little hovercraft lighting up there. We try to This guy runs in ahead of his team, so we try to pressure him down way early and successfully get another kill. He just wants to fight. We just want to win. So don't run in without your team, kind of like traditional PvP. I know I can kite here for a really long time, so I try to go behind them. I accidentally dragon trigger myself into a wall, but it ends up creating a lot of space for my team. As you can see, there's one guy who knows what's going on trying to sort of contest over there. And I could have played that better, definitely, but if you have 3 people squirreling on you, kind of the reverse of what happened with my team the last game, as you can see, my team just ends up pushing, you know, getting a lot of mileage, as it were, out of that push. And this thief comes over to finish me, so I have to vengeance. I figure I can at least apply a lot of AoE vulnerability and maybe give myself and my team some alacrity before I lose to vengeance with dragon trigger. So we end up getting a couple kills. I actually don't get the vengeance proc, but I figured it was worth it because we get some more push mileage out of it. They're not staying in the point, and even you can see here, this guy, I think he catches the tail end of that mass invis, so he's not able to contest the point, or it may just be bugged because it's new. But we had a couple people in the point there, and now we've got the huge run back. As you can see, the point is by the enemy spawn point, so you have much further to run. I try to get an artifact here, which spawn up on these ledges now. Kind of cool. New Kyneg City. This map is aggressively green. My 2 points of feedback is I kind of don't like that you can't see over the walls to see your team, and also the map is just aggressively green. I don't mind the Jade Punk aesthetic. It's just very green, which is neither my least favorite nor my favorite color. It's very green. But anyway, we get a lot of picks. Green aside, we get a lot of picks on the enemy team here, and I think this secures us the final little team fight here and the overall win. But yeah, Push is really fun. I've been really enjoying it in the couple matches I've played. I enjoyed it a lot in the beta as well. There's been some changes, but overall I think they're for the better. And as you can see, the matches are super short. We went through 2 full matches, just the tail end of this video, in the time it would take for half of a normal Conquest match. So jump in, try it, and rack up those wins. It's a great time to play PvP and get all of your objectives done, tick all of that off your box. But yeah, I'm Pseudo. Cheers, guys. I'll see you in Tyria.